It's national meets regional. It's Sidewalks Entertainment, the long-running celebrity, music, and art series. Join us for a new path to arts and entertainment.
Yeah, doing an impersonation, I felt similarly that doing an impersonation would be the wrong way to go and come off
Oddly disrespectful.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you have to do, it's a line, you have to tip your cap to them and do your own thing at the same time. And George has been complimentary, so.
Yeah, you've been on stage with him, the Sulu Summit, I think, one of your first convention. What was that like?
George is sweet, and he's, what can I say, he's terrific. And not only do I admire him as an actor, but you know, he's been an activist for so long, and I kind of see him more as a community leader than an actor these days, and so it's a real honor to be anywhere with him.
Yeah,
I love him as well. I got a lot of time for George. I think he's brilliant. I follow him on Twitter, and he talks a lot of sense, that man.
Our guest today is an internationally beloved actor, human rights activist, and internet phenomenon. I am so excited to welcome George Takei to Sidewalks. Welcome to the show, George.
Hi, good to be talking with you.
Gosh, it's so great to have you with us today. We are such a fan. Our entire team on Sidewalks loves you.
I love San Francisco. That's where Sulu was born. That was my father's hometown, and I was just there last week. So it's a city where I not only have left my heart, but when you're riding on a cable car, I'm afraid I'm going to leave an arm or a leg, too.
You got to keep them tucked in, that's for sure. Why don't you tell me a little bit about your early years, George? Did you have a big break moment as an actor, or was it really just sheer tenacity that sort of helped carve out your career?
Well, I was an architecture student at Berkeley as a good son. That's what my father wanted me to be. But after 2 years there, I transferred to UCLA as a theater student, and that's where I was seen by a casting director from Warner Brothers in a student production. And I was plucked out of that and put into my first feature film, starring Richard Burton and Robert Ryan, Edna Ferber's classic novel on Alaska titled Ice Palace. So breaking into the movies was, for me, a piece of cake, a stroke of good luck, being a theater student at UCLA.
Well, you've had such an amazing career, both with, you know, highs and some lows, of course. So it should come as no surprise that a documentary has been made about your life called Be Takei.
I have to tell you that in my email, no one gets more positives than George.
I totally love your smart humor on Facebook.
I was the best helmsman in the galaxy and put to rest all that stereotype about Asian drivers. Aye, aye, sir, Warp 3. My father told me, look at the kind of roles that Asians are playing. I said, Daddy, I'm going to change it. My life has been transformed as fantastically as science fiction. As a boy, I looked out on the world, imprisoned behind the barbed wire fences of American internment camps. It was a painful moment there.
手紙を読んでください。
では読ませてもらいます。
どうもありがとうございます。
どういたしまして。That's very impressive.
Thank you.
Can you put oh my on there?
Oh my? You determine your destiny. I don't believe in negativity. If I did believe in that, that usually comes true. I, in my own life, have been the beneficiary of an optimistic view of life. My life today is much better than when I was a child.
There you are.
Be Takei. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Well, it is about my life from my beginning in barbed wire prison camps called internment camps to my life today with my husband of 27 years, actually 8 years as my husband's, 21 years as my partner. So it's that journey from a barbed wire prison camp to a liberated gay man with a husband living and enjoying the entire process of democracy. It began where it failed, and here we are now in an amazing chapter of American history where we have marriage equality for people in 19 states.
What do you think people are going to be most surprised to learn about you and your life after seeing the documentary? What are they going to walk away with going, wow, I had no idea?
Well, there are still so many Americans that don't know about the internment. I'm always taken aback when people that seem otherwise well-informed, educated people that tell me, when I tell them about the internment, they're aghast that something like that happened in the United States. So that's something that they're going to learn something about. But also in To Be Takei, they get to see the normality of my life with my husband, as well as the craziness of being married to an actor. So it's that combination of normality, craziness, and a little bit of making history.
Well, George, you know, people of course know you from your iconic character of Sulu from the Star Trek television series and films. You know, for all of the Star Trek fans out there, I was asked to definitely be sure to ask you this question. So when it was announced that Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country, would be the last film where all of the original cast would be participating, what did you think about that decision? Would that have been a decision that you would have made if you were given the opportunity?
Well, the thing that was really exciting for me was I've been lobbying for Sulu to get his own captaincy because Starfleet is a meritocracy. And I was unsuccessful in lobbying until Star Trek VI came along. The script came to me and I opened it up, and there on the front page is Captain Sulu. So I think it's the best movie of all the Star Trek movies. It's an amazing phenomenon that I'm really proud to be associated with, and that too is going to be a part of To Be Takei.
We are almost out of time, but before we go, I wanted to ask you one more question about there was buzz a few years ago about there possibly being a television series that was centered around your character of Sulu. As we close, can you give us any idea of whether that was actually something that was a possibility? Could it still be something in the future? Where does that stand?
Well, if you saw this ending of Star Trek VI with Captain Kirk, who was saved by Captain Sulu, you know, and the classic ending scene on the bridge, I mean, that seemed to lead the way to at least another episode of Captain Sulu, either on television or as a movie. But and the fans took the cue on that, and they began a huge tidal wave of letter writing, email writing in this day and age now. But they never took up the cue at the studio. And so we'll see what happens, but I think that phase of Star Trek now has passed, and we're now boldly going with the rebooted cast of Star Trek.
Well, listen, George, it was such a pleasure to have you today. Thank you so much for being with us.
Live long and prosper.
Oh my.
For more full-length celebrity interviews, visit sidewalkstv.com.